Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on cybersecurity. We're going to break down the threats that are lurking out there in all of our digital lives, and more importantly, the powerful strategies used to defend against them.
Let's just dive right into this quote. Cyberspace isn't some abstract idea anymore. It's a fundamental part of our world, just like land, sea, or air. And securing it, well, that requires the same level of seriousness from absolutely everyone.
Think about it. The internet is completely woven into our lives. We shop, we work, we bank, we connect with people on the other side of the planet with just a click. But here's the thing you gotta remember. All this amazing convenience was built on a foundation of openness, not security.
To really get it, you have to look back at how this whole thing started. It began with ARPANET in the 60s, a network built for one thing: to keep communicating no matter what. Security? Total afterthought. Then you get TCP/IP in '83 and the World Wide Web in '91. It was all about connecting everyone, opening the floodgates. That whole philosophy of connect first, worry about security later is exactly what created the massive challenges we all face today.
So, in this wide-open digital world, who are the bad guys, and what kinds of weapons are they using? Let's break down the anatomy of a cyber attack.
First thing you need to know is that not all hackers are the villains. On one side, you've got white hat hackers. These are the good guys, right? The digital security guards that companies hire to find the cracks in their walls before the criminals do. On the other side, you've got the black hat hackers, the crackers, who are looking for those exact same flaws for their own malicious reasons. The only real difference? It all boils down to intent.
Okay, so the number one weapon in pretty much any cyber attacker's toolkit is malware. It's just short for malicious software, and it's basically a catch-all term for any piece of code that's designed to do something harmful.
And malware, it comes in all sorts of nasty flavors. A virus latches onto your files and just starts corrupting everything. A worm is scarier. It copies itself across whole networks, just choking them to death. But maybe the most clever is the Trojan horse. It shows up looking like a gift, a useful free program. But once you let it inside your digital walls, bam, it secretly opens a back gate for attackers to just walk right in. And then you have the everyday stuff like adware and scareware, which are just designed to annoy you and trick you.
So how does this nasty software even get onto our computers in the first place? Well, one of the most common ways is through something called phishing. This is where attackers pretend to be someone you trust, like your bank or your boss, to trick you into just handing over your passwords and credit card numbers.
The scale of this problem is, well, it's just immense. And check this out. Now, this data is from a few years back, but it paints a really startling picture. At that time, every single second, 25 computers became victims of a cyber attack. Just think about that for a second. That is a relentless global assault happening constantly.
So, with this constant storm of threats, how in the world do professionals even begin to fight back? Well, it's not random. It's not guesswork. They have a strategy to move from all that chaos to a state of control.
All right, let's flip the script. We're going to shift from the chaotic world of attacks to the super-structured world of professional defense and see exactly how they build that digital fortress.
The very first step in a strong defense isn't just throwing up a bunch of digital walls. Nope. It's about really understanding what you need to protect and why you need to protect it. That's the heart of risk management, and it's what frameworks from places like NIST are all about. They provide the blueprint for thinking strategically. Now this is really interesting because it shows you the core of a real defense strategy, and it really just boils down to three key things: controlling who gets in, basically locking the doors; constantly watching for anything weird or suspicious, kind of like security cameras, and then proactively fixing any weaknesses before the bad guys can find them.
And hey, when a breach does happen, because sometimes it does, there's a very clear, methodical process called digital forensics. It kicks right in to figure out exactly what happened, gather all the evidence, and make sure you learn from it so it doesn't happen again. But look, this kind of strategic thinking isn't just for giant corporations with big budgets. Not at all. The same ideas apply to every single one of us. So let's bring this whole grand strategy down to the most important front line there is: you.
Your first line of defense is always your password. And let's be honest, most people's passwords are just shockingly easy to guess. A truly strong password isn't just a word, it's a complex lock. And the easiest way to make one is to use a phrase pass.
And this just shows the difference so clearly. A simple, predictable password like password123 is basically an unlocked door. But a passphrase, something based on a sentence that only makes sense to you, that becomes a fortress wall. It's easy for you to remember, but nearly impossible for a computer to guess.
Now, if you want an even stronger layer of security, you have to enable two-factor authentication. Seriously, it's a total game changer. It means that even if a hacker somehow steals your password, they're stopped cold. Why? Because they don't have that second piece of the puzzle. They don't have your phone.
So here's the crucial takeaway. Building your own personal defense is all about developing a few simple but really powerful habits. They don't take a lot of time, but they can dramatically, and I mean dramatically, increase your personal security.
When you boil it all down, these are the 3 areas where most of us are the most vulnerable every single day. But here's the great news. As we've just seen, these are also the exact same areas where you have the most direct power to take control. So it all comes back to this one simple question. In this digital world, your personal data is one of your most valuable assets. And at the end of the day, real cybersecurity, it starts with valuing your own information and taking these simple, powerful steps to protect it. Thanks so much for joining this explainer.